fearless, you got fire. He's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. Overflow is your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours.
Hi, everyone. It is Julie Loughlin. Welcome to Divine Abundance. And I am so excited to have my really good friend, Martha. I'm going to screw up your last name, Martha Kartaoui. Is that right? I did it right. Yay. Happy day. Martha is a good friend of mine. We've met at a few events that we've been at together. And she is the owner and founder of Artesian Wellness. So excited to have Martha on today. As part of my wellness journey, I've been working with Martha to overcome some of my own self-limiting beliefs when it comes to my health and wellness. Just want to put a personal plug out there for you because you've been amazing in the level of support that you've provided for me. So I just wanted to say thank you, Martha, for that. It's been my honor and my joy to be working with you, and welcome to Divine Abundance.
Thank you so much for having me. This is like surreal. I feel like, every time that I get to be on somebody else's platform and see the cool things that they're doing, I just feel so honored and privileged. So thank you. And thank you for the kind words. It's been a joy to work with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Martha, the first question that I always start out with everybody is, what is abundance to you?
So I'm going to probably go off in a different direction than most people do, because I don't see abundance just as monetary. I see abundance as wealth of the soul. And that really means that when you are in alignment with who God has created you to be, everything about you is abundance of health, abundance of wealth, abundance of understanding, abundance of wisdom, right? Abundance of joy, abundance of happiness. And so it's all about alignment for me, and abundance comes from alignment for me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's very profound. And you're right, very different from a lot of answers that I've heard thus far. With your company that you founded and you're currently operating, Artesian Wellness, what was the spirit behind it? What was the reason that you felt called to start Artesian Wellness? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. So when I first started it, it was because I was done with corporate. I had been running 8 physical therapy clinics as a admin director for 10 years. And it all became about the numbers. Everybody wasn't a human any longer. They were a number. And that did not sit well with my soul. And by trade, I'm also a therapeutic massage therapist. And so I was like, you know what? I can rely on my other skills. I just can't do this everybody's a number thing any longer. And so I went out on my own and I started Pick Wellness LLC at that time. And it was passionate, intentional collaboration was my idea. As I wanted to collaborate with other holistic health care personnel to help people to reclaim their selves, mind, body, and spirit. And so that's what really started it. And then as I kind of grew and moved away for a few years and closed that LLC and then came back, and now I opened Artesian Wellness with the same understanding of the collaboration, because no one modality addresses all, even though all are connected.
That is awesome. What are some of the other businesses that you've collaborated with to help people in this very unique way?
So I have worked with Reiki practitioners, EMDR specialists, neurofeedback specialists, biofeedback specialists, hypnosis, nutritionists, personal trainers, massage therapists. It's all about the collaborative approach of understanding, like, when your client needs something that is outside of your scope of practice, that you're able to refer them to somebody that you know and trust, that has their best interest at heart as well, so that that collaboration can be built. But at the end, the client gets what they need.
What is the reason you really feel called to be a coach in this space? Can you tell me more about that? Like what was laid on your heart that you were like, I'm meant to do this? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the coaching thing came after I started Pick Wellness and then Artesian Wellness. And that came from the understanding that everything that I had survived and had spent the last 14 years healing from, it was now time for me to give back. And so God really put it heavily on my heart about 3 years ago that it was time for me to start stepping into my own power, the power of my own healing, and to be able to start teaching people how to step into theirs. And it brought purpose to the pain. It brought a mission to understanding that everything that I had gone through was not in vain, and that I could use it for good by paying it forward and helping others to get unstuck, to heal from their own trauma, and to be able to step into their own divinity, step into their own essence, step into who God's created them to be. And so that was really the joy that came from stepping into coaching, was that was a venue, or I could be the vessel to help them to do those things. And that has been that's been so fun for me. But I learn from everybody that I work with as well. This is a process. And so it's just one of the things that I get to use.
I love that. Thank you, Martha, for sharing that. Tell us, I know you're a published author. Tell us about your first book. Just tell us, like, what was the intention behind it? Was some things that you learned along the way, and your intention for your second book. I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So my first book is Glory, Going All In. And for about 10 years prior to writing my book, God had put it on my heart, you're going to write a book. And I kept arguing with God. And I kept saying, I'm not a writer. Like, if I'm going to write a book, you're going to have to send me a ghostwriter, because I don't write. Like, I'm dyslexic, all the limited beliefs that I've carried around my whole life. Right. And I was like, God, if I'm going to write a book, you're going to have to send someone to write it for me, because I'm not doing it. And then a year and a half ago, I ended up in a conference in Nashville, and lo and behold, the switch got flipped. And I was like, oh, I'm writing a book. And so I sat down and wrote my entire first book in 23 days. And I would write for like 6 to 8 hours, and then I would take a break, and then I would come back and read some of it. And I'd be like, dang, this is good. And I'd literally hear God go, you're welcome. You asked for a ghostwriter, and here I am. And so
Wow.
it was just me and God for 23 days writing my book. And it was the coolest experience that I don't know how other people write, but it was such a cool experience for that to be my first. And it opened something. And when I read my book back now, it's basically, it was all this stuff that just had to come out, and it was a processing. It was a catharsis. It was definitely this thing that just needed to come out, and I needed to get it out into the open so that it wasn't holding me back any longer. Right. It was just enough of all of the details and the gore to tell the story, but it wasn't meant to be this dark thing, because I'm not dark any longer. Right. I've healed through so much. And so that's why the book is broken into 3 different sections of my cult life, my healing story, and then what I do as a coach. And so now on my second book that I'm writing is basically an elaborated version of the first book, of just going way more in detail. It's called Unlocking Her Freedom, The Keys Back to Her. And it's way more detailed and way more of me, because I feel like the first one was a little clinical and was a little bit just kind of surface level, because I wasn't ready to get into the nitty gritty. And now that I've been public for as long as I have, and my story is out there, I'm ready to tell it on my terms. So
I love this, and I can't wait. Do you have an idea of a release date yet?
So that is a God thing. We will see. I'm hoping that mainstream publishing picks it up this time instead of going the self-publishing route. And so that is my prayer, and I'm working towards that, and we'll see if that if and when that happens.
That is amazing. And I am rooting for you, friend.
Thank
So
you.
it's very exciting. Tell us about, what have you got coming up? Like, what is happening right now? I know you've got a lot going on all at the same time, but tell us between now and next year, some of the things, events, retreats, workshops. I know you're collaborating with great other practitioners and some are my personal friends. Tell me about what's going on between now and like next year. What are some things
Yeah.
that you're involved in?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So the big thing that I'm really putting a lot of energy behind and a lot of prayer behind is my first big event. It's called Unbound. It's here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's September 12th through 14th. And the venue is at an Aloft Hotel. And this is my first like trauma healing event. This was something that God put on my heart about a year ago. And then I invited a couple of other people to host with me. And we have speakers, we have workshops within the retreat. We have, it's just going to be a healing weekend, a 3-day conference. And I'm just so excited to see how it's coming together and the people that God's putting in the room. And that's where the majority of my energy is going right now. I'm also actively recording my TV show that comes out weekly, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Prospera TV. So I'm interviewing for that. And that comes out, like I said, every week. And that's exciting. Love doing that. That show is called Let Glory Shine on the Prospera TV network. And other than that, I write when I can. And I'm also working on a major new development, but it's still too soon to talk about. But there's lots of things that God has in the works. And when you're in alignment, it feels like everything just finds you in its perfect time. And that's what I'm feeling right now. It's like all these opportunities and things that God has called me for are starting to cross my paths, and I'm having to and getting to step into it, and it's exciting and a little scary
Amazing.
too.
It is a little scary, friend. Amazing. I had something really big that happened this week too, and I can't wait to share it with you. I can't share it yet,
Yeah.
but I can share it with you privately, and I'm very honored. I've been asked to speak at something really significant. Really excited about it, and I'm not ready to release the info yet, but
Yeah.
want to tell you because you're going to be really excited for me.
I
So
am celebrating you all the way, girlfriend.
thanks. And likewise, I love what you're doing with Unbound. Where can people that maybe are viewing this, where can they find tickets?
So I will send you the link so that you can have it in the show
Great.
notes. But yeah, we have a website that you can go to read about what we're doing and meet the hosts and buy your tickets through there. So I'll send that over to you so that you can share it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And also the links for your books, for your book for purchase as well. I'd love to put that in
Excellent.
our show notes. And also, how can people interact and get in touch with you? So I know that we'll add all that to our show notes in this episode for sure. We have such a good producer in Elena Rodriguez. If I forget, she'll make sure that it's there. So we're
Yeah,
blessed.
she's amazing.
How about Martha, as you think about the totality of your life, and I know it's got a lot of twists and turns, friend, like we all do. What is one learning that you've experienced that you wish you could take and go back in time, project back in time, and go and share with the younger version of you?
Mm. Um, this makes me like want to cry
Mhm.
because um there's so many, and the one that I will choose to speak on is that I'm enough,
And you always were.
and I always was. And regardless of all the things that happened to me, they were not because of me or because I was less than, or you know, that took me I was in my 40s before I realized that I had always been enough. I was perfectly and wonderfully made, and that there are just the perpetrators that hurt me in my life, hurt me because of their unhealed stuff, not because I was bad or I was less than, or that I wasn't good enough, or that I was a whore, or any of the other lies that I had told myself. And so, yeah, that would be the first thing that I would share with my younger self, is that you're enough. You've always been enough, and that you will reclaim it at some point. And for me, that was in my 40s.
Kudos to you, Martha. That is profound. Like to be able to really embrace that and really want to share that with a younger version of yourself. Thank you for sharing that. I know that really touched your heart and struck a chord with you. Definitely did with me too. When I was asked that same question recently by someone else, has a similar question to that question that I asked. For me, it was, you're not alone,
Mm,
that
yeah.
God is always with us. And so for me, it was like something that I would love to go back and tell the younger version of me, who always thought that I had to figure everything out on my own. And I had God right there in my back pocket. It's just you have to turn to him and listen to him and engage with him. And he was always there with me. And as I look back in the trajectory of my life, I see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. That is
It's so funny that that's the one you chose, because that was between the two for me. That was, I'm worth that. I'm, that what I shared, but then you're not alone. Cause I talk about that all the time, about people that have been through trauma often feel isolated, often feel alone, often feel less than, off, like all those things. And so
Mhm.
I've been through that as well. So it's awesome. Like, yeah, it was between those two. So I love that.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. What is just one thing that you would like to share with our listeners today? Maybe something in the last 6 months that you've recently acquired knowledge or learning on that you think has really shifted things for you in the last 6 months. Maybe something that you've learned or something you read or something that you've come across that's kind of been a little bit of a turning point for you in your journey. Anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and it's hard to isolate it to the last 6 months, because everything kind of snowballs into the next thing as you open up and as you learn and as you step in. It feels like a snowball effect. But one of the, I think, the most important things that I've learned as of recent is understanding that the totality of the things that we have been through do not define us in
Mm,
the scheme of who we are and who our soul is, and where our soul has been and where our soul is going. The totality of this human experience and this physical experience that we are taking part in is minuscule, and it cannot define who we are, who we've been, or who we're becoming. And when
right.
you understand that on that big picture level, because we,
Mhm.
all of us, get stuck in our shit sometimes,
Yes.
right? In
Yep.
our, I'm sorry for saying it, like our
Our
stuff,
stuff.
our yuck, our like dark,
Mhm.
right? Because life happens, life be happening.
Mhm.
So, and we get stuck in the things that are happening. But when you kind of are able to take a step back, and you're able to look at the big picture and understand like the soul's journey, right? Like this is such
Mhm.
a small portion of what we get to do in this physical experience. And so I don't want to be defined by any of my past. I don't want to
Mhm.
be defined about what I'm doing here either. I want my legacy to be what defines me, right? What am I doing for other people? How am I helping other
Mhm.
people to get out of their own way, to reclaim their own selves, right? How do I make others feel by just being me, standing in my light, showing up with who God created me to be? How does that make others feel, right? Like that's what I want to define me, not like the things that I've been through, or the trauma. Like that's not what defines my soul. And
Right.
that was a huge like aha for me, of like, no, no, no,
Mhm.
no. I get to decide what defines me, and it's none of that. That's
Nope.
what's built me, right? But the healing is what will eventually define me. So yeah.
I love it. I just get this image of a phoenix rising through the ashes. That you have been through so much, but it doesn't define you, it hasn't stopped you, and it certainly isn't holding you back, friend. So that's profound. That is amazing. Honestly, Martha, I'm just so blessed to know you. Thank you for being here. I don't want to cry, but I definitely could. Um, I have learned so much from you in such a short period of time, and you are making a difference in the lives of others. I'm an example. I'm a living, breathing example of the profound impact you've had for me in just getting back to caring for myself, because I've had a 2-year journey of caring for other people to a profound level. And I've finally been able to carve out time to take care of me. And I definitely heard you when you told me, you need to take care of you in such a serious and profound way so that you can be here for the rest of the years that God has planned for you to help these other people, whether it's my own family members, my child, my clients, whomever it is. So I want to thank you profoundly for that. And it's just been my honor to have you and to have you on the show and to hear a little bit about what you've got working on. I hope our listeners do partake in just seeking you out, because you're an amazing resource. And I look forward to seeing you soon, friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to hug you because I receive all of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got purpose, you got fire. He's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. Overflow is your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours. This is your prosperity era, where dreams align with grace. Abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.